Nathan's here, Trimless is here, Matt is here. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Congratulations on the win. I'm going to go to Trimless first. He's only one of the last ones we speak to. You got the win. You got the performance. You scored some goals. How you feeling, mate?
Yeah, I needed it, man. Needed it. First thing I say, big up the panel, of course. Come on, you got us nice little cheeky win after the international break. But yeah, I needed it because obviously we hadn't won in a while. It was I think about 5 games. And but at the same time, I was like, after the international break with the rest, I'm expecting to see a response today. I'm expecting to see a better performance, and they did, man. They turned up. I know people. There's been obviously like this misbalance now with Forest. 1 minute, it's a tricky game. Now it's just Forest, you know. But I'm just more happy that we got the 3 points. I'm not even gonna give energy to that. Saka today, you know, he's just been consistent this season. Like, okay, cool. He might not get a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 every game, but every game he's just consistent, like he's just doing something. And today we saw it again, and it's just a breath of fresh air to see Ødegaard back with a hip in his step, as Terry was trying to say earlier with the Pip thing. But yeah, man, it's good.
It's Pip, not Pep. A Pip in his step.
Hip in his step.
Oh, is it hip in his step?
Yeah,
I didn't know whether I just got the expression wrong. Hip in his step. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
it means like you're confident in it, like you're energetic, like.
No. I hear you. I've heard the saying. I thought it was pep in your step, but there we go. It's hip.
But yeah, now all and I think Arteta handled the game well. Obviously Zinchenko came on as well in that left side, and I thought he was okay in midfield. This is the type of game and type of scoreline where you can put Zinchenko on, you can rest players. So I thought that was smart. And it's good to see that the rotation paid off today. Partey came on at halftime, and I was like, well done, bro. Like, literally just banged it in like that. Played it, read the game well, got some interceptions and tackles in. But yeah, Forest didn't really threaten too much. So I can't gas up the win too much. I thought Forest didn't really offer too much threat. Obviously, Wood didn't start as well. But obviously, I was expecting a bit more from Forest. So I can't be too excited. I want to see like a nice little run from here now, because Chelsea won today as well. And like I gotta look at Liverpool and City, but Chelsea are around us as well. So we just gotta stay there, remaining there, and ready to pounce or once other teams slip up. So yeah, man, we'll keep our head forward, man.
I hear that. From your point of view, Nathan, was this a case of Forest not really turning up, or Arsenal just completely shutting them down? In your view,
it was a bit of both for me personally. I thought that was probably some of the best football we've played in a long time in terms of fluidness, in terms of stylistically. It kind of reminded me of the 22-23 season in terms of the way in which we were moving, like the way in which players were kind of switching positions, that level of fluidity, short passes, creativity. We didn't look like it was defense first. The players were allowed to go out there and express themselves. In regards to Forest, I know they had a few players missing, the likes of Gibbs White and whatnot, but at the same time, they're a tough outfit, and the reason they have been a tough outfit this season is because of their defensive structure, how they, the setup and how they break on the counter with the likes of Vilanga and Hudson-Odoi, so, and even Awoniyi. So, to be fair, I think we did well to nullify them, because they're a team, as we've seen, even against when they got the win over Liverpool. There were moments where Liverpool really should have put that game beyond doubt, and they held their own. They defended really, really sturdily, and then broke on a counter and won the game. So for me, I think we deserve a lot of credit, because it's the first time we played with such kind of swagger, confidence. We attacked with aggression. A lot of times we looked a bit stagnant this season. People said we look like we devoid of ideas, no creativity. And today was just nice. I mean, I think the manager deserves a lot of credit. I've been one of the people that have been on him this season, because I feel like, number one, I felt like he hasn't rotated in terms of giving players a squad, giving minutes to the squad players, because when crunch time comes, you're going to have to rely on them, and if they don't play, if you're not giving them the minutes, you're really bringing them cold. So that was always a worry for me. And even tactically, I think I've always not been a fan of Trossard in our system, because we use him like a touchline winger. and we expect him to kind of like burst into kind of like to exploit large spaces. But today there was like a difference in the fact that it was the team played a lot more closer together, so there was a lot more short passes, and he looked a lot better because he wasn't being asked to do something that doesn't stylistically fit his attributes. And that's where, for me, Arteta deserves a lot of credit today, because like we saw a lot of times Trossard drifting over to the right hand side, Saka moving over. So even from that perspective, I was really happy with that. And overall, I thought it was a great performance in terms of Odegaard coming back. I mean, I've said it before, I feel like he's the closest thing that I see in football right now to like David Silva and the way he plays. You know, his footwork, his ability to control games, create. Saka taking responsibility. I mean, we've had lots of conversations about Saka being world class, but for me, I think he's cemented himself as world class. For me, world class is about consistency. You know, delivering year in, year out, performing at a certain level. And even for that goal, you know, I was screaming, pass it to Moreno, but he had that kind of fuck it, I'll do it myself attitude, which I like to see. And it's something that I've been calling out for, having that type of X factor and being decisive. And yeah, it kind of set us on our way and gave us that confidence to kind of build into that game. So overall, I thought it was a great performance.
No, listen, I agree with a lot of what you've said there in terms of. By the way, some people are saying it is Pep in the step. Not Hip in the step.
Killing me, bro.
The comments get mad. I thought it was Pep, then I thought it was Hip. Either way,
yeah, I thought it was Pep too.
Whatever it is, Saka had it today, and I like the way he grabbed the ball by the horns. And I think one of the things that you said, Nathan, about the rotation, I think you mentioned the rotation at the start of what you said.
Right, yeah, the rotation, yeah.
But that's also I feel like Odegaard's obviously been out injured, didn't have the international break fresh today. Saka had that 2 weeks off fresh. Obviously, you can't not play Saka for 2 weeks multiple times in the season because Arsenal need him. But it shows how important rotation is and how important freshness is. I think that went a long way to that performance as well today, which is why, again, I'm only going by what I watched Gunas say. A lot of Arsenal fans online were very happy when they saw that starting lineup today. They viewed it as good enough to beat this team with actually some decent firepower and quality to come on. And sometimes it's an interesting thought. You don't always need to pick your best team to start certain games. Maybe it's you're better off having some of those players kind of come on against tired legs. So you're very, very good today, I thought, overall there. Brannon, I know you're not always, or as we're now calling you, David De Gea, because you do look like David De Gea now, like legitimately, that beard, the hair. Are you out stealing donuts is the question. That's the big question. But good to see you again after the international break. 3-0 against a very good Forest team. What were your thoughts on the performance and the win today, mate?
Yeah, more of that, please. More of that. I don't think it was just about the result today. I think it was about the performance as well. I think this is one of the very few games that Arsenal played this season where you can sit there and say that the performance matched the result, or the result matched the performance, should I say. I was pleased as well to see the amount of rotation. I'll be honest, because that's something that I don't think Mikel Arteta did very well in our opening 11 games. I don't think he used his squad to the best of his capabilities that he possibly could do. And today, we see Havertz drop to the bench. We see Partey drop to the bench. We see Rice on the bench. Maybe that's because he's not fully fit. You know, we see players come in like Jesus today, who, again, I don't think he had a particularly great performance, but it's nice to see that Mikel Arteta is starting to trust in some of these players. Martinelli dropped to the bench as well. Trossard played out wide. You know, we played with a back four of proper defenders. We're not trying to shoehorn Thomas Partey to right back. You know, we're actually playing defenders in defensive positions. We're allowing our midfield to do what they're capable of doing rather than asking them to do something that they're not capable of doing. And I think that made a difference. You know, we absolutely dominated today. People will say it could be a mix between Forest coming back after the international break, not being as good as what they were leading up to it, and the international break coming at the wrong time for them and maybe the right time for Arsenal. But we dominated. You know, you have to look at the stats. I think we had 48 touches in their box to their 11 against us. They didn't have a single shot on target. You know, we dominated in that area as well. So more of that, please. And I want to see more of that. We've got fixtures coming up now where we can see more of that from Arsenal. We should be beating these teams, including Manchester United, if we're being real. I know Man United have got a big, let's just say, we'll see tomorrow anyway, but I'm assuming Man United will have a manager bounce. But as you rightly pointed out in your opening monologue, Tel, you know, your record against us at the Emirates isn't particularly great. So,
yeah,
you know, regardless of Ruben Amorim being in, and maybe there being an uplift from the squad and the players, I expect us to beat you as well. Our next game's West Ham. They don't look fantastic. You know, you look at the fixtures we've got coming up. I'm expecting Arsenal to go on a run now, and I think that's what's needed. And well, we've got no choice really. We have to go on a run if we want to have any hope of winning the league title, which I think is very, very slim. But mathematically, we're not out of it. So, you know, we'll see.
Well, the only way you're going to get back into it is by winning. And I think I've said the other week, you probably got to go on a run of your next 10 games, winning 8 or 9 of them. And this is how you start doing it. And a lot of those games are winnable for you. You're the better team on paper. You've been the better team than all those sides in the last sort of 2 seasons. So it's about winning. And then where the hope comes in is that within that period, Liverpool maybe drop some points and maybe drop some more points than you expect them to. And you have the opportunity to pounce, because the worst thing would be you drop points today and then they go and get beat by Southampton and they're let off the hook. So you've got to do that. I feel that, and I don't know who it was. We had the Newcastle fan came on the Top 6 show and he kind of said to me, Gallant, you guys have got to come out with a bit more, not blind support. Yeah, we're going to win the league, but this sort of sitting in the corner with your tail between your legs, like that's not really going to help your team. I think Arsenal fans have got to find this mixture of standards and pressure and back in the team. It's either sometimes blind support where no matter what happens, they'll say nice things, or fuck them. I wouldn't give the steam off my piss. And I feel like, and by the way, that doesn't mean you can't criticize. It's just there seems to be this lack of, not so much you boys, but just out there in the ether, just people that lack that. I don't quite get it.
I think performances like today will help. I think the biggest problem is that, you know, we've gone from the way that Arsenal used to play football in 21-22 when we was 8 points clear, 8 games to go, right, to this Arsenal team now that like to lean on the defence. And we did that a lot last season and it almost won us the league. The only problem that we found so far this season is that by doing that, you don't mind playing like that as long as you're picking up results. And we haven't been picking up results recently playing like that. So I think that was the biggest problem. I think people were sitting there thinking, well, if we're going to be watching this haram football, we want to be picking up results at the very minimum.
Yeah, of course.
So I think performances like today will help to get the belief going again. But we just need to consistently do it. And like I said, Arteta needs to start relying on his squad now, because, you know, we can't have Odegaard playing 50, 60 games a season, Saka and Rice. It's just not physically possible, and then remain at the top. You've got to use your squad. And in my personal opinion, you know, he's proved it again today with his goal. Ethan Nwaneri's a big threat. I know he's only 17. I don't expect to see him starting loads and loads of games for Arsenal, but I do want to see him playing more football in terms of, you know, getting more time on the pitch rather than, you know, just the odd 5 minutes, 10 minutes there. I think you can afford to chuck this kid in, because let's be honest, in these next 10 games, I expect Arsenal to dominate, because we've got the likes of West Ham. You know, these are teams that Arsenal should be dominating.
I was going to say Man United.
No. I'm laughing because 10 seconds into the game and Basuma gets a yellow card for a cynical foul. It just made me laugh. Like, I thought they were meant to get the first ones free, PGM, and then what you said the other week. I agree with a lot of what you said there, mate.